She's not what you'd expect. She's tough and feisty, but gentle and tender. She makes millions and gives millions to the poor. She cries, she laughs, she teaches, she comforts. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. Are you in a place where you feel the negativity from others? And that negativity that you feel from others is kind of weighing you down, especially at work? Are you one that worries about what people think of you? Let me read you this question from Christy Kimbrell. How do I rise above others who are negative about me? Continue to show them love and respect, but without it hindering me. What is wrong with me currently? You know what? Isn't it so interesting that that is generally what we end up thinking? We think something is wrong with us and that we are the center of this particular problem. Well, it's part true, but my answer might shock you, because if you are that person who doesn't seem to be able to rise above the negativity that others, like the negative opinion that someone has about you, friend, I got to tell you something. You're heading for trouble if you do not follow some simple instructions and allow yourself to mature out of this. Let me tell you why you're heading for trouble, especially in your work life. Because right now we live in a very peculiar time, season, and age of the world. We really do. This earth age that we're in at this very moment is unlike any other before us. How? Social media. You see, it used to be that people's opinions largely stayed within themselves when it came to other people, and or there was gossip, right? Just a little bit of gossip, just enough gossip to get around a few people. Do you know what I mean? Like if there's someone that had a negative opinion about you and it's at work, right? So, and again, on this Business Tip Tuesday or Work Tip Tuesday, you know, where we're in the work setting, we're talking about how to succeed at work. And if you're one of those that walks into the office every day and you are afraid of afraid of people's negative opinions about you, what you end up doing is that you fulfill their prophecy. You fulfill what they're saying because you are afraid of their negativity. You're afraid of what they're saying. So you begin to act like what they say you are. You begin to shun them. You begin to stay away from them. You begin to isolate yourself. So the gossip that happens around the office is, oh, they think they're better than everybody else. They never hang out with anybody. They never contribute anything, right? So now you are fulfilling what is actually being said. But see, prior to social media, that was the setting, right? But now because of social media, people are blasting their negativity about somebody before the world. They're blasting it, and again, what we think, right? That when we see it on social media, we think that the tens of thousands of people are seeing it. It really is not the case. It really is not the case, all right? It really is a small amount of people that are actually seeing it. But what you have to realize is that your fear of what other people think of you affects your production. It affects your attitude. It affects your ability to get things done. It affects your diligence. It affects your dependability. It has a negative effect on your income. So we have to mature out of this fearing what other people think of me, or this fearing about the negative words that have been spoken about me. I have to tell you that I used to, 15 years ago, this was debilitating for me. It really was. It was horrible. In fact, to be honest with you, I actually closed a company down because of gossip. Yep. The gossip was so not true. In fact, the gossiper was telling the truth about herself, literally telling the truth about herself. She was accusing me of doing something that she was doing herself. And it all came out eventually. Like a year later, it all came out. But by then, I had already retired. I was one of those that had absolutely such low self-esteem. I was somebody that cared so much about the opinions of strangers, the opinions of my friends, the opinions of my family. I cared about everybody's opinion. And because of that, it drove me into a deep depression for 4 straight years. And I walked away from something that I loved, helping people, changing lives, seeing people thrive. And this happened to have been somebody that I helped. Yeah. somebody that was in a terrible broken up marriage. She was working 60 hours a week to make $60,000 a year. She had 4 children. Her life was a mess. They had a ton of debt on top of their mortgage, on top of their cars. They had all this credit card debt. And she was in a desperate place. Asked if I would help her to increase her income, asked if I would teach her how to build a business, and I did. She made $125,000 her very first year on a part-time basis, was able to cut her hours back from the other business that was not even profitable, was able to mend her relationship with her husband for a season, and actually got pregnant and had another child. But when that person turned around and started saying things that were just absolutely not true and completely against my character, I ran and I hid. What do you mean you ran and you hid? It hurt so bad that I said, you know what? I'm just going to focus. I was pregnant with baby number 5, and it was my excuse to retire. And said, I'm just going to focus on my family. I'm feeling like I just want to be a mom right now, and I'm just kind of done. And I literally thought, never again would I ever build a business, never would I help anybody. I'm just going to grow a garden and grow children, and that's all I'm going to do. So friend, you have to mature out of this. I finally came to the revelation that no matter what, people were going to have their opinions. And no matter what, people have the freedom to speak ill, to gossip, to lie, to slander, to bear false testimony. People have that ability to do that. And for me to think that I'm going to get through life without ever hearing those words, I was being a fool. So I needed to grow up in all reality. I needed to grow up, and I needed to accept that some people have mouths where they are going to run their mouth as I have ran mine, unfortunately, in the same exact way that that woman did. And the fact was that I reaped what I sowed. You will reap what you sow. We all will reap what we sow. So I had to own it. I've done the same thing to others. I chose to forgive her, and I chose to release that pain. Oh gosh, and it was a pain that tormented me for several years. Once I released it, I then began to just say, you know what? People are entitled to their opinions. They don't have the full picture or perspective of anything. They're entitled to it. I've done that to others. It's being done to me. It is what it is. But I'm going to just choose to forgive, and I'm going to choose to love, honor, and respect in spite of someone stabbing me in the back. This is Dani Johnson. We're going to continue with more after this. Do you have a closet full of clothes yet say, I have nothing to wear? Are you a mom doing her best but desperately lacking me time? Or maybe your schedule has you dressing practically instead of powerfully. What if I told you there's a system, a blueprint that can save you time, money, and turn every head in the room, as well as impact the world through fashion? Friend, you're in the fashion business whether you like it or not. You're an ambassador representing your faith, your marriage, family, and business. Style is just a skill made easy with 123 Style Me. 10 steps to style success that will expand your leadership, save you hundreds of hours and thousands of dollars. This program will bring you peace of mind, reignite your marriage, make you more productive, respected, and instantly boost your confidence, equipping you to be bold and beautiful. Go to courses.lindapage.com. Again, that is courses.lindapage.com, and make a priceless investment in yourself. Are you confident that you're always getting a good deal? Have you been equipped with the negotiation confidence, strategies, tactics, and supporting tools you need to close world-class deals? Finally, JPA is making the exact same specialized negotiation training and secrets used by the world's largest, most successful corporations available to everyone. Proven in more than 60 countries and used by brands like Adidas, Vodafone, Pfizer, Nokia, and others, the JPA negotiation method will set you up to save money and time while significantly increasing your profits. It doesn't matter if you're buying or selling real estate, closing contracts with suppliers, or selling products and services to individuals or organizations. Using their simple step-by-step negotiation preparation checklist, you'll be ready to confidently slug it out toe-to-toe with the toughest professional negotiators. It's time for you to stop leaving money and opportunity on the table. Go to bizneg.com/events to register now. Again, that's bizneg.com/events. Get registered today.
Did you know you can take the Dani Johnson Show with you wherever you go? It's never been easier to stay up to date with the latest content from Dani with the DaniJohnson.com app. Watch or listen in the car, at the gym, or on the go. Download it now from the App Store and Google Play and never miss a show again. Your family, business, and bank account will thank you. And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
In this whole topic of being afraid of what people think, it kind of then leads over to afraid of letting people down. Hi, I'm Dani Johnson. This is the Dani Johnson Show. Today we're giving you tips to succeed better at work, and you can also use this to succeed at home too. But this is a great question that Mark Walker wrote in. He said, I find myself fearing failure and letting other people down. How do you maintain balance in relationships and personal life when it comes to prioritizing relationships over business? Such an important question. You see, it's one thing to be afraid of the haters, right? Those are going to be out there. They're totally going to be out there. And you cannot allow the haters to be your compass. You cannot allow, like I once was, man, I let the haters be my compass. I let the gossipers, the slanderers, the liars be my compass. Ooh, now when that rises up, it's like, too bad, so sad. Boy, you're sowing some really bad seed. You're going to reap what you've sown. And I literally pray mercy on those who gossip and slander and twist and turn and spin truth to benefit them and to come against me. I'm like, wow, like a totally different person today than I was 21 years ago, the first time I stopped doing business because of a gossiper and a slander. So anyway, bottom line is that for you, Mark, and all the other Marks and Marthas that are out there that are in that spot, like, man, I don't want to let people down. Sometimes the fear of letting people down can paralyze us, can cause us to get stuck, can cause us to not move forward. Let me tell you about life. Life is a forever testing. It's a testing of finding the balance between the two. You see, what I do for balance for me may not work for you, but you are you. Your wife is your wife. Your kids are your kids. You have a physical makeup. You have a certain level of energy and drive. You got a certain vision, and I've got mine. The fact is that you have to do what I did, and that is test. You have to test. You have to test something. You got to start somewhere. And so in the case when you've heard my story where I used to work 100 hours a week, building 2 companies at the same time, working 5 to 6 days a week, I was not with my family. Okay, I was totally neglecting the most important relationships in my life, thinking that I was building a business for them, but it really wasn't for them. When it came down to it, it was just for me, and it was because I was afraid of failing, and I figured if I worked harder and more, then I wouldn't fail, which was a big stinking lie. But when I finally came to the revelation of, wait a second, hold on, my family's much more important than business, and I'm like killing myself. I was so depressed. I was totally miserable. No amount of money was worth the way that I was living. So for me personally, I just needed to test something. So 2 things I'm going to tell you. How do you balance it? You communicate. You need to ask your spouse. You need to ask your kids. And I did this the whole time that my kids were in the house. Now, almost everybody's gone. I have a son that's still in the home, sometimes in, sometimes out. But the bottom line is that 4 of our kids are married. They're on their own. But while they were in the house, and to be quite honest with you, even though they're out of the house, even when I've had other opportunities come to me, they are who I've gone to because my career has an impact on who they are and has an impact on their family, and it has an impact on our overall family. So for example, when the Steve Harvey interview had come up, I had asked each one of them, are you guys good if I go and do that? When the Oprah Winfrey came up, I went to them, asked them, are you good? Are you okay? I want you to tell, if there's any party that says, Mom, I don't want you on there. I don't want us on there. No, it'd be great if we don't do that. When Secret Millionaire contacted me, same thing, because our whole family was on that show. And so guys, I want you to think about it. Don't be afraid to tell me no. I want to hear no. I'm actually looking for the no. I'm looking for the first opportunity not to walk through these media doors. And so I allowed them to have voice into my career. And why? Because my career could have a negative impact or a positive impact on them. So it's about balance, and it's about finding what's going to work for you and your family. And so you got to communicate. You got to ask the question. You got to let them speak into your life and tell you what communicates to them that they are important, So for example, why did I ask my kids those questions and of course my husband those questions? Even as adults, why do I ask them those questions? Why? Because they're important to me. And me asking for their opinion and me asking for permission does what? Shows them that they are important to me, shows them that they are involved still in my life, shows them that it matters to me, that they're engaged with this conversation and that they are the higher priority over any business opportunity that comes my way. And so there might be times in seasons, you as the father, if you're the husband, or if you're the wife, then making money is your secondary priority. It is not your primary. The primary, in my opinion, is the kids. And that's how we were wired, is to be with those beautiful children. And so if you're the primary breadwinner, I'll just call it that. If you're the primary breadwinner, then it's important that if you're coming into a high season, let's say you're a farmer, right? And so like right now, it's like planting, it's protecting that seed. And then when harvest time comes, it's like those are going to be early mornings and late nights. Communicate in advance. And the same, by the way, that goes for work on the flip side. So on the flip side, communicate. So if your family is in a season where, okay, your wife is about to have a kid, communicate, right? Just, let the boss know, hey, just letting you know, my wife is about to have a child. This is going to be our first child, and my goal is to be completely focused here at work while I'm here at work. At the same time, if you find me to be a little bit distracted because of that, I really want you to call me out on that, because I do not in any way want to trip up the goals of the company. I don't want to show myself to not being committed. But if I am some way, in any way, emotionally not connected, please just sit me down and say, hey, dude, you're in one of those places where you're not quite committed right now. We need you to come back. Either that, or do you need a day off? Do you need a couple hours off? Let's just communicate. All right. So that's what I'm saying. If you're wanting to not fail somebody, then don't fail them. Communicate. Talk to them. Ask them. Don't be afraid of what they will say. You're gathering information so you can find the best workable solution. And the best workable solution for the family is going to be perfect for the business. I promise you. That's how it gets blessed. I know this. I have tested this for 21 solid years. I have. 22. It's actually 22 years. January 1996 is when I finally woke up from the workaholic drug addiction that I had. And I finally went, whoa, no more. My family is more important than business. How do I communicate that? How do I learn what schedule works best for me, for my kids, for my husband, and for my business? Triple my income, friend. So don't mess with this. It works. We'll continue with more right after this. Financing a home can be a nightmare if you don't know exactly what you're doing. Ask me. I know this. That's why the first thing you have to do is find a mortgage company you can trust that has your back through the entire process. Whether you're buying your first home, upgrading your current one, or looking for an investment property, Rick Fujisaki at Wintrust Mortgage wants to win your trust. Rick understands the mortgage industry, and he can take all the stress out of financing a home for you. His easy-to-use worksheets will help you calculate the mortgage you can afford. And he has a unique tool designed to help you find and set aside money for your down payment. And when you work with Rick, who, by the way, I love, a portion goes to caring for the poor through King's Ransom Foundation. So visit loanmortgageguys.com and start building your dream today. Again, contact Rick at loanmortgageguys.com. Have you ever wondered if your investments are making enough money for retirement? What if you could buy an investment rental property for as little as $35,000 that rents for at least $550 a month? After Aaron and Drew Hudson asked themselves this question, Hudson Real Estate Investments was formed, and now 200 transactions have been conducted. Their system helps individuals buy and hold real estate. Their definition of a great buy and hold is a property that pays you a monthly positive cash flow from day one. Hudson Real Estate Investments has a team who find properties available for immediate purchase, vet tenants, and have qualified property management in place. So if you're looking to have freedom and live your life on your own terms, grab your phone and text the word FUTURE to 484848. Get started today. Text the word FUTURE to 484848. Secure your future now.
Prior to getting started with DaniJohnson.com and First Steps to Success, we were spending absolutely every dime that we made. We were really struggling financially. Since plugging in to First Steps to Success just 4 months ago, we started a brand new business that is doing very, very well. We've paid off $4,500 in debt, but the most important thing is my relationship with my husband has improved like dramatically. I mean, we have so much more fun together. You know, I don't know about you, maybe your finances, you're doing great, maybe you're debt-free, maybe your relationships with your spouse, with your family are great. But if not, if you have some areas in your life that feel a little out of control or there's things that you need to work on, I highly recommend getting to First Steps to Success as soon as you can.
Prior to being dragged out to First Steps to Success, I was hopeless. I had no point to life. It was a day-to-day existence, working a job I despised for people I didn't respect. Deeper and deeper debt every year. You just couldn't get on top of it. I just had no hopes or dreams, none at all, and there was no point to life. But since coming out, we paid off $280,000 worth of debt, married the woman of my dreams. I came to love my job and the people I work for. I have all kinds of hopes and dreams. I get to watch them happen every day. I don't know what your life is like, you know. There's probably tons of hope. You probably know why you live and you got places you're going, but if you don't, you need to sign up for First Steps to Success. You go to DaniJohnson.com and you click on it and be here, because your life will not be the same if you do.
Prior to First Steps to Success, I was drowning in debt, I was terrified of my bills, and I wanted to travel, but I never had the money. And since coming to First Steps to Success, in the last 14 months, I've paid off over $18,000 in debt. I've gone on 6 vacations, and I'm not terrified of my bills anymore. So if you want to learn some proven strategies to really learn how to connect with people, take your life to the next level, all while having a total blast, you need to get registered for the next First Steps to Success today.
Prior to coming to First Step to Success, we were totally struggling, totally under the weight of $640,000 worth of debt, making $20,000 a month, but living paycheck to paycheck. So when we came here and I realized that it takes a totally different skill set to keep money, to create wealth than it is to make money, I have totally turned around our lifestyle. We have paid off $640,000 worth of debt in 2 years. We are debt-free as of June of 2013. I don't know where you're at. You might have all your finances in order. You might have a wonderful life. Your marriage might be all perfect and your kids are behaving. But if not, if one of those things is lacking, you've got to get here. Book your next event. You need to be here. You will not regret it.
What multimillionaire do you know that volunteers their time to help ordinary people like you and me? There's only one. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
So when we started this show today, we were talking about fearing what other people think. Well, here's a whole nother level of that. Nancy Cowley writes this. How do you overcome fearing what other people think of you? I have a hard time motivating myself to press on. Oh, girlfriend. That's a whole nother level, right? So it's one thing to be afraid of people, afraid of what people think of us, but it's a whole nother thing to now that you have thought about that so much that now you are paralyzed with that fear and you have a hard time motivating yourself to press on. So that's like first level, being afraid of what people think, or being concerned about what people think of you, which guess what? Doesn't matter. It clearly does not matter. You're like, yes, it does. No, what if it didn't matter? What if it didn't matter? Listen, people are so busy thinking about themselves that they ain't got time to be thinking about you. Everybody walking around the earth is thinking about themselves. Think about this. Everyone around the earth, this is really funny. I've asked this question in front of 1,000 people. How many of you are concerned about what others think of you? Almost every single hand goes up in the room when I ask this question. Almost every hand, bam, very passionately shoots up. Okay, now keep your hands up. So if all of you are worried about what others think of you, are you thinking about other people? And people just start laughing like, oh my gosh. So there's a pretty good chance that the people you work with are sitting there at their desk worried about what you think of them. And there you are sitting across the hall from them worried about what they think of you. So let's do it like this. Bob is worried about what Harry's opinion is of Bob. But Harry is worried about what Bob's opinion is of Harry. What a mess! So here both parties are sitting there worried. What does that guy think of me? And the other guy's thinking the same thing. What does that guy think of me? I wonder what he thinks of me. Which means that you're actually not thinking about the other person at all. So here you got people all over the office worried about what others think of them when we're spending all of our time worried about what others think of us, which means that we're not thinking about the other people. Do I need to say it a third time for you to get it through your head? Come on, friend, think about this. It's a total waste of time. It's a complete waste of time. Here, let me give you the big mind grenade. People are so busy thinking about themselves, they ain't thinking about you. By the way, this has been studied. This is human nature. You're actually making this up in your head. You're making it up in your head. So here it goes from this thought to then you're dwelling on it, and then you're seeing actions, right? They don't look at you. Well, they're not looking at you because they're worried about what they think of you. They're not looking at you because they're worried about what you think of them. So here now you see that he's not making eye contact with you. He's not smiling at you. Why? Because he's worried about what you're thinking about. Not because he's rejecting you, not because he thinks you're a dork, not because he thinks you're wasting time, not because he doesn't approve of what you're doing. No, he is so caught up, worried about what you think that he's embarrassed, he's ashamed, so he's not going to have eye contact with you. He's so worried about what you think that now he's totally self-conscious about everything that he's doing. But you are perceiving that as he's judging you. That's how it works. Isn't that a twisted up mess? Oh my gosh! And this is how we live. It's silly. So how do you fix it? Get to work. So in the case with Nancy, like, man, I'm paralyzed. Like, what do I do? I can't motivate myself to press on. Okay, listen. Largely where this fear of what others think of us comes from a wound from our past. It comes from a bad experience. Again, all fears come from the past. Every voice of fear is echoing from something that happened beyond yesterday, okay? So let me ask you a simple question. Were you made fun of in school? I was. Oh, yes, I was. I was made fun of because of the way I was built. I was made fun of because of the giant space in between my teeth. I was made fun of because I wore hand-me-downs that were really, really old. I was made fun of because of the house that we lived in. I was made fun of because we were the poor kids who had to have the school lunch. Okay, that's just to start. I was made fun of because my mom was heavy. I was made fun of because my mom showed up to the school high. I was made fun of for lots of different things, okay? So that's a program in my head that says there's something wrong with me and people are making fun of me. Because I was not trained as a child, and probably you were not either, I was not trained to forgive the kids who made fun of me, but instead I internalized what they said, and now I didn't smile because of my big giant gap that a cigarette could fit in, like a whole size, a tooth. That's how big my gap was, as though I was missing a tooth. So I wouldn't smile because I was made fun of because of my gap, right? I hid myself because of the clothes that I wore. Do you understand what I'm saying? So now I'm carrying this into adulthood, and now I'm worried about my teeth, I'm worried about what I'm wearing, I'm worried about people saying. And this is coming back from what? Third graders. third graders that haven't been taught proper people skills. They haven't been taught proper emotional skills. So hear me, the third grader, now I'm mad and I'm angry about this and I think something's wrong with me and God must not have loved me because he made me ugly. Do you understand? So you need to forgive those who have hurt you, made fun of you in your past. Let that go. Release that nonsense. Set yourself free and move on. Everybody in your office is worried about what you're thinking of them, okay? And you're worried about what they're thinking of you. Can we just go to work already? Let's produce some stuff. If you start focusing on your work and you start getting the focus off of yourself and what people are thinking of you, you're going to produce. And if you produce, you're going to get a raise. You're going to get a bigger bonus. You're going to get things done. You're going to have the capacity to learn. Listen, you've got 24/7 in your brain, right? What do you want it producing? Huh? What does Bob think of me? No! You want it producing something that's going to help you live better, help your family live better. It's going to help you elevate in your success, help you elevate in your income, in the growth, in your career, in your reputation. That's what's on the other side of releasing the things from your past and just going, all right, I'm going to focus on production. I'm going to win. This is Dani Johnson. Thanks so much for joining us today. God bless you and have a great one.